When it comes to watching anime, it can be hard to know just how long you should give something before giving up or continuing on. The first 15 minutes, one episode? Sure, you can decide anytime you want, but what if I told you there is a golden rule that generally gives you the perfect window of opportunity to make that decision? Well, you're in luck because you're getting a crash course on the 3-episode rule and why it's such a good barometer for understanding a brand new anime. This is Otaku 101 and classes in session. While the 3-episode rule is mainly defined by how many episodes of an anime the viewer should watch before making a judgment, there is another perspective, which is just how many episodes the creator should take before making a series hit its stride. What's fascinating about this rule is that there is some validity about this number. Crunchyroll acknowledged the rule's existence in a 2021 video that looked at the viewer retention rates per episode, and they noted the most significant drop-off in retention happened after episodes 2 and 3. This confirms that the 3-episode rule, whether people consciously know it or not, is in fact a tangible thing within the anime community. The reason why the 3-episode rule is so useful is because of the sheer amount of content we have nowadays. Considering the flood of new anime every season, the 3-episode rule would allow people to filter out shows they won't watch without committing that much time and effort. We've all been there in our early anime viewing days where you could binge 8, 9, 10 episodes because you didn't know what you were doing and only to realize you never enjoyed the series. Then you think to yourself, well, I'm more than halfway done, so I might as well finish. Only for you to realize you definitely wasted your time with the entire series and just hate yourself for it. Yeah, I've been there. Now you may be asking if it really is the all-encompassing guide it claims to be, or have recent trends started tearing down its validity? Let's take a look at some older and current anime to answer this question. Let's start with a personal favorite, Shinichiro Watanabe's Cowboy Bebop. Honestly, applying the rule here means you'll probably skip it, because nothing of any true substance happens until at least episode 5. Demon Slayer and Samurai Flamenco also fall under this because they both start pretty slow. In fact, I seriously considered quitting Demon Slayer after a few episodes, and I actually stopped watching Samurai Flamenco entirely. Although, after nearly 10 years, I came back around, which isn't something I normally do, and I explained my reasoning for this in a previous video if you're interested to know why. The series is much better than you think. On the other side of the spectrum, shonen classics like Bleach and One Piece tell you exactly what kind of anime it will be after just watching a couple episodes, and Attack on Titan does one better by setting up the series from the very first episode. Now, Attack on Titan does throw in some unexpected shifts well after episode 3, but does this actually matter for a viewer whether they decide to leave or not? I don't think so, because the general vibe of the story doesn't change, but if you disagree, let me know in the comments. Now, the best example of the 3-episode rule at work is in Madoka Magica, because while these first 2 episodes hint that something is atypical, the third one shows the series' true colors, and this darker intent will drive the rest of the show, which will keep you intrigued. Now, to see if this rule is still used today, let's talk about a couple anime that aired this year, starting with Studio Orange's remake of Trigun Stampede. In the first couple episodes, it starts strong and uniquely moves at a pace that's familiar yet different from the original Trigun. The third episode gives us a reveal of a character that watchers of the original already expected, but because of the timing, your curiosity is piqued on how the story will go from here on out. Next, there is arguably the biggest surprise hit of the year, Oshi no Ko. While episode 3 is a decent one, we can't successfully apply the rule here because there is nothing of substantive value. But if we think outside the box, we can find this rule works in a first episode. That's because the pilot totals around 90 minutes, which technically means you can break it into 3 episodes. It makes sense because I believe the creators intended to make this pilot the perfect setup for understanding the rest of the series. While the first hour isn't eventful, it builds the necessary exposition surrounding the characters like Ai and her doctor, and how those last 30 minutes deliver in an unexpected way is incredible. Not to mention, this cliffhanger will keep you checking out the rest of the show. Now, the results may feel convoluted after talking about some of these anime, but you can say with some certainty that the 3-episode rule is useful. But you may be wondering, how can I apply this to myself, and how do I filter out anime that's not for me? Well, the answer is entirely up to you, but you can start off finding ones that catch your attention. Read top 10 articles, or get suggestions from friends, or better yet, watch recommendations from an awesome YouTuber with nearly 300 subs and has exceptionally great taste. I'm just saying. Once you start watching these shows, you basically choose based on your vibes and what gets your attention. I feel by default, the 3-episode rule applies to if the story is suitable to continue, but other factors like the animation or comedic timing or even the characters can do the same thing. Maybe it's a combination, or it could even be other factors that I haven't even mentioned. Just think about what gets you interested in a show, and if after the 3rd episode you still feel bored, then maybe you should consider quitting. But also know that this tool doesn't necessarily have to be cut and dry, as maybe you feel there's potential to continue watching for a bit longer. And if you want to see more than 3 episodes to find out your answer, then go on right ahead. While the 3-episode rule is a decent barometer for deciding on continuing an anime, at the end of the day it's still a subjective one. If you've come to a decision after 10 minutes or 10 episodes, just do it. Think of it like a helper of sorts to get you where you need, and the more you watch anime, the more you will find that sweet spot for making that decision. I guarantee it. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, then please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already by clicking that platypus to keep up with my latest and greatest. You know you wanna. Class is dismissed, and stay nerdiest.